start by just reminding folks of where we are at this point between the city of Houston and Harris County. We are well beyond 4,000 cases. We have had already at least 50 deaths, and we're waiting here for the latest case count update for Harris County. If we're able to receive it on time, I'll share it with you guys, the one today. The people that are dying each day, most of them have been seniors, many of them grandmothers, grandfathers who will no longer be at the Thanksgiving table this year. The stakes are high, and those are the stakes. They're life and death. And because of everything you all are doing, we're faring better than other communities. Folks are watching Houston and Harris County with concern, with additional attention because of our size, because of our population, and with everybody's efforts, we so far are faring better. But we're not out of the woods. We're not out of the woods, not by a long shot. The case count continues to go up. Of course, the admission rates continue to go up at hospitals, particularly at our public hospitals. We are very close to capacity, and that's really what we're watching, is those continuous increases. We still haven't seen a tapering off or a peak. So we need to continue to with our efforts until we get there. I know folks are hurting. I know that this is painful, and it's painful emotionally, it's painful economically, and know that I'm committed to getting us back to normal life as soon as possible. But the path to getting our economy back to normal life requires a couple of steps. The way to do that is twofold. First, we have to reach our peak. We have to make sure that we've reached the peak of new cases, and then we're tapering down. Number two, we need mass testing, universal, rapid testing, so everybody knows who's healthy and who's not. That's the only way we get back to work. It's the key to getting our economy back and running again. From the beginning, we've said that without adequate testing capacity, fighting COVID-19 is like shooting in the dark. And a cornerstone of our strategy is having that rapid testing, that accessible testing. Every step in that direction is big news. And that's why today I'm proud to announce this partnership with Walgreens. Over the past week, we've been working closely with Governor Abbott. We've been working with Walgreens President Richard Ashworth to expand testing capacity across our county. Walgreens has testing only in a handful of states, and the representative here will go into more detail. But, Illinois, Louisiana, Arizona, Michigan, and now Texas, right here in Harris County. The only 2 sites in Texas are now in Harris County. They will be here starting on Friday. So today we're proud to announce 2 additional drive-through testing sites. One will be in the city of Houston and another in the city of Pasadena. And I've been in touch with Mayor Turner and Mayor Wagner about this as well. So this is how it works. Beginning on Friday, 2 Walgreens locations will begin offering drive-through testing for up to 200 people per day. They'll be open 9 to 5, 7 days a week, and Walgreens has provided dedicated space for this to happen safely. Now, they will function in many ways like the testing sites we already have at the county. Folks will have to go through an online screening tool because even though this is a step forward, we still have more demand than we have supply. And so folks will have to go online in advance. Walgreens has their link, but you can also access their link through readyharris.org, and that's online already. So folks today can sign up through Ready Harris for testing through the 4 sites we have in Harris County already, through the 2 sites with Walgreens as well, And as you guys know, we also have the link on Ready Harris for all of the different government-sponsored testing sites around our region. So you can find there the link for the City of Houston sites, Fort Bend, Montgomery, Galveston, etc. The impressive and exciting thing about these two sites that Walgreens is providing is that these are 15-minute tests. These are rapid tests. Folks will not receive the results for 24 hours because there are state and federal reporting requirements, but that's fast. That's the kind of speed we need. So folks can get into that already for Friday. Of course, that's limited, so you can try the other options as well, and it will be based on symptoms and the CDC criteria. This is a perfect example of government and the private sector working together, and I want to thank Walgreens, of course, and Governor Abbott for his partnership and his leadership on this. Testing, quick testing, accessible testing is absolutely necessary to get to where we are. And of course, a thank you always to our healthcare workers, to our public health officials, and everyone on the front lines of this fight. So we will continue to work to make this available. We hope and trust that private sector supply chains will catch up as the days go by so we can have more and more testing for our region. This week, we were able to successfully launch the 2 additional county sites. So we had 2, one in Baytown, one in Katy, and now we've established 2 more sites which are pop-up. So they're in Tomball and the southeast part of town for 2 days, and then starting tomorrow they will be moving to precincts 1 and 3 and other parts of town, and that will be happening based on need, and we're seeing full demand for those test sites because we know that mobility is a challenge in our region, and we're very, very spread out. So I'll just conclude by saying, remember, we're very much still in the thick of this, and we need everyone's help to continue getting through this crisis, because to the extent that we continue to stay home while we get the testing, while we hit that peak, the peak will come sooner. The hurt to our economy will be less, and we'll be able to lift the order sooner. So we continue to need folks' support to follow the order, to stay home, to bear with us for the sake of our economy, yes, but also for the sake of our parents and grandparents and law enforcement and everyone, our friends, our family members who continue to be sick, to be hospitalized, and whose lives we can save. I'll repeat my remarks in Spanish, and then we'll hear from the other speakers.
You've been listening to Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo updating us on Harris County's response to COVID-19. Judge Hidalgo announcing a new partnership with Walgreens today to expand testing capacity across Harris County. 2 additional drive-through testing sites are being added, 1 in Houston, 1 in Pasadena. These will be at Walgreens. Up to 200 people will be able to get tested each day. Folks, as we've seen at other testing sites, are going to have to be pre-screened and pre-register. They can sign up through readyharris.gov, Tanaya.
That's right, and these tests are going to be the rapid tests. The 200 tests per day will be those rapid tests, meaning that the people who do get tested will get those results in about 15 minutes. So, as she mentioned, we still have not hit the peak of the cases of coronavirus here, so that will help if these people can get the test done and the results quickly. But again, you do have to pre-register for that. Judge Hidalgo said, as of right now, we are not out of the woods by a long shot. Public hospitals almost at capacity. And again, she says we have not reached the peak just yet. But she said the path to getting the economy back to normal is going to take several steps. She said she knows a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are not working or limited hours. It's very difficult financially for a lot of people. But she said there are a few steps first we need to reach the peak of the virus and then it will taper down. And she said the mass testing, we need this rapid testing because we need to know who is healthy and who is not. So we know if it is safe for people to go back to work and for businesses, the economy to, get going again, Andy, because this is affecting people around the world and a lot of people here in the Houston area.
And Judge Hidalgo's call for more testing, increasing testing capabilities, is in lockstep with what we've heard from Mayor Turner over the past few weeks as well. He's also been making a big push for more testing across the city of Houston. He says that testing, data from that testing will give local leaders and all the decision makers and health officials a better idea of what we're dealing with in terms of community spread. That testing data will be a critical component in the plan to reopen the Texas economy and, of course, our local economy. Judge Hidalgo giving no indication that the stay-at-home, work-safe order that's in place for Harris County would be lifted after April 30th. Texas Governor Greg Abbott set to issue some guidelines in what it will take to reopen the economy. That announcement is expected tomorrow. Judge Hidalgo, I know Mayor Turner, they have all said that they've been having ongoing discussions with Governor Abbott as well as leaders in the national level in terms of the things that need to be in place in order to safely reopen the economy, and that this isn't going to be something that's a rush to the gates. I think that's a quote from Governor Abbott, that this may be a slow reopening of the economy here locally, Tanaya.
That's right. And going off what Judge Hidalgo just said about it's not going to be a rush to gate, because we have to find out, if people are actually healthy enough to return to work, because they don't want this virus to spread. Right now in the Houston area, there are more than 6,200 confirmed cases, 6,217 at last check. We have 116 deaths, but 1,358 people have recovered from the coronavirus. Again, this testing is very crucial. New site opens today in Galveston. That is the latest free testing site location. Health officials will now be administering those tests at Fire Station number 5 on the island. So that means there are now 4 free testing locations here in our area. They will, these ones you can go to whether you have symptoms or not. Again, the 2 in Houston, one at Butler Stadium, the other at Del Mar Stadium. Galveston County now has 2, but again, you cannot just show up to get tested. You do have to pre-register by phone or even online at all of these locations. So they just don't want you showing up there to get tested. You do have to pre-register. And for these new sites, Judge Hidalgo said you can pre-register and get all set up for these ones at readyharris.org, Andy.
We heard this from Mayor Turner yesterday and Dr. David Pearce with the Houston Health Department, that Houston is faring much better than many other communities across the country. Judge Hidalgo echoing that today, but again cautioning, as we've heard from city leaders as well and local health officials, we are not out of the woods yet. One of the things that Dr. David Pearce talked about yesterday, a point that he wanted to make, is that when we do finally hit our peak here in the Houston area, it is not game over. It is simply halftime. And in order to restart the community, there are so many factors that are going to have to be taken into consideration. Mayor Turner was asked the question yesterday about his plan to get things restarted. He said, look, this isn't my plan. This is everyone's plan. All of the decision makers and all levels of government have to be on the same page in order to restart the economy. Does he expect that after Governor Abbott lays out those guidelines tomorrow, that it will be business as usual starting Monday in the city of Houston? Absolutely not. He believes that this is going to be a slow rollout of things to reopen here in our area, Tanaya.
That's right. And if you're just joining us right now at 11:24 on this Thursday, Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo is announcing 2 new testing sites in Harris County. Now, these are rapid coronavirus testing sites starting tomorrow. They're going to be at Walgreens drive-through testing sites in Harris County. One will be on Westheimer and Highway 6, another in Pasadena along West Southmore Avenue and Shaver Street. Now, each of these sites, we're we're told, will be able to conduct 200 rapid tests per day, meaning that these test results, you'll get them in about 15 minutes. So the testing, again, we've been saying this all morning long, and Judge Hidalgo just said this, the testing sites at these Walgreens store will be by appointment only, and you must be pre-screened before you can get these tests. So, you know, they're saying the testing is, we need to know these testing results, because so many people around here could be infected with the coronavirus. And that's another reason, you know, we're kind of still on these stay home orders, because they have to make sure that everyone is okay and well enough to go to work, because they don't want to continue the spread. They don't want the community spread anymore, Andy.
Yeah, there were indications yesterday, Tanaya, from Dr. David Pearce that the curve was beginning to flatten in the city of Houston. There were certainly signs pointing to that. He had mentioned that some of the local hospitals in the city of Houston, he says, according to a select group of hospitals in the Texas Medical Center, they've been able to handle the volume of COVID-19 patients who've been coming in. The demands for ventilators and ICU beds are also being met. Again, that's according to a select group of hospitals in the Texas Medical Center. But again, to reiterate his point and the point that the judge is making this morning, when we finally do hit that peak here in Houston, the greater Houston area, it is not game over for all of us. It is simply halftime. There are so many things that need to be in place. We're going to go back and listen in on the news conference.
Garcia, and then to Roy Armstrong with Walgreens, I want to announce today's case count. As of 11:15 a.m., we have 84 new cases in Harris County outside of the city of Houston, and 2 new deaths, 2 people whose lives are now cut short by this invisible enemy that is coronavirus. So with that, I'll conclude. We'll hear from Commissioner Garcia, in whose precincts these sites will be, and who's been a fantastic partner and leader throughout this crisis, and then from Mr. Armstrong with Walgreens. Commissioner.
Thank you, Judge. Want to commend you for your beacon leadership. These are very difficult and dark times, but you're providing us with light and a direction for us to follow and for us to return to normal as quickly as possible. I, too, want to thank the state for working to provide this rapid testing process with the partnership of Walgreens. I will say that I already do a little bit of shopping at Walgreens. I'll probably be doing more. And I'm very grateful. And I'm hopeful that others like Walgreens will catch on and work to follow in their example. We need more testing. We need to provide people the opportunity who have concerns, but also primarily where they have someone at home who is in that high-risk category, and that they want to make sure that they're not bringing something into their environment that they don't need to do so. So I'm very, very grateful for this. In particular, I also want to commend the city of Pasadena, council members Casado, Wheeler, Ibarra, Harrison, Mayor Wagner, because those council members have been steadily in my ear asking for more testing for their constituents, for the citizens of Pasadena, and this is a phenomenal opportunity. In this quadrant, if you will, the city of Pasadena, the city of LaPorte, the city of Baytown represent amongst the highest identified cases in the Precinct 2 community. And so I know that this testing site through Walgreens will be greatly, greatly appreciated and highly welcomed. Primeramente, gracias, jueza, por tu liderazgo. Gracias por el apoyo y
You are listening to Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia talking about the new testing sites that will be opening up in his precinct. Judge Hidalgo announcing today a new partnership with Walgreens to expand testing capacity across Harris County. 2 additional drive-through testing sites will be opening, again, one in Pasadena, the other in Houston. Those sites will be opening tomorrow. We've been told they'll be able to test up to 200 people each day. This is going to be drive-through testing again. And as we've seen at other testing sites across our area, folks are going to have to be pre-screened and pre-register. They can sign up through readyharris.gov. That's not something where you can just show up and think that you're going to get a test. You have to take the necessary steps in order to make that happen. One of the things that Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo has been talking about today, although we are faring better than many other communities across the country in terms of deaths and the number of cases, we are certainly not out of the woods yet, and that we have not seen the number of cases tapering off here in Harris County, leading officials to believe that we have not yet reached our peak, Tanaya.
That's right, Andy. Judge Hidalgo just said as of 11:15 today, there are 84 new cases in Harris County and 2 new deaths due to the coronavirus. So we haven't reached the peak. You know, this Houston area is faring better than other big cities around the country, but still, she said, we are not out of the woods by a long shot. We do need to continue what we've been doing. You know, all these businesses have been closed. We need to continue our social distancing because it's helping, but we're not out of the woods just yet. She said the path to get the economy back to normal is going to take several steps. Like you mentioned, we have not reached the peak. We needed to reach the peak and taper down. All right, we're going to go back now and listen live to this news conference
of Harris County and the city of Pasadena. Gracias. Thank you.
Good morning. So as you already heard, that Walgreens is very pleased to be a partner to help manage this pandemic and get it under control going forward. Walgreens is a big part of the community here for 80 plus years, and we welcome the opportunity to do our part to be on the front line of this healthcare crisis. So as the county judge already mentioned, we'll be opening 2 testing sites tomorrow in Harris County. So we will be doing the rapid tests that you already heard about. So the opportunity here around testing is to get results quicker. So obviously there's a big need to expand testing. So we are so glad to add 2 additional sites to the 4 sites you already have throughout Harris County. So at these locations, Walgreens pharmacists will oversee individuals as they self-administer the test. So the test we are using is the new Abbott ID Now test. So this test is less invasive than most tests out there and certainly provides quicker results. So both locations we have are already taking appointments as of today. So individuals just need to go to walgreens.com/coronavirus to fill out a questionnaire based on CDC guidelines to establish an appointment starting tomorrow. So the 2 locations we have, the one in Houston is located at 14531 Westheimer at the intersection of Westheimer and Highway 6. And the location in Pasadena is located at 101 West Southmore at the location of Southmore and Shaver. So once again, the testing will be available starting tomorrow at no cost to individuals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Armstrong. And just to reiterate, as with our sites, you know, we ask that folks not show up without having done the online screening because you will only be allowed with the pass, the number that folks will get once they've completed the screening. We'll open it up for questions now.
Hi guys, I'm sort of operating as at least the English part of the pool reports, and I just wanted to know, can you, the gentleman from Walgreens, can you describe more specifically what we're talking about? The 15-minute test, this is not the antibody test, it's the live virus test. And also there was some talk about first responders getting initial access to that. Can you just tell us specifically what kind of test? Give us a little more detail.
Mr. Armstrong, yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, we are making tests available for first responders, healthcare workers, and those 65 and older that's showing symptoms. So priority 1 and priority 2 patients.
So do
go
ahead, I'm sorry.
What's the question?
Well, do they have are they also, if you're like a firefighter or police officer, do you already have, or a medical worker, do you already have some of those people lined up, or do they need to go on the website as well?
They should go on the website as well. So, and once again, the test is the rapid test. It's the new ID Now test by Abbott Laboratories that gives you results in 15 minutes. So, as the county judge commented, we will be providing those results within 24 hours.
So that's the live virus test, right? Because you guys have 2 rapid tests that are coming onto the market, both the live virus and the antibody. And I think in the public there's some confusion about what exactly you are. So could you specifically tell us that? Yeah,
this is the live virus test. So we basically letting folks know if they're positive or negative for the virus.
And you're only doing it 2 sites. Are there plans to expand that as availability for other at other Walgreens, maybe as a cash base or insurance pay basis?
I would expect that we would expand at some point. There's limited resources right now, so I think that limits the number of sites we can have right now. So I would expect that would expand with the significant need for testing around Harris County right now.
And you anticipate having these supplies for a while, like 2 months? Or, how long will you stand up the sites for?
I would expect that we would be in place as long as there's a need.
Okay. Judge, I'm sorry, you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, just, the screening tool in the CDC also asks if folks are first responders. And so that's part of the, the criteria, as I know. But we do need everybody to go through that screening tool. And again, as we get more testing, we hope to be able to open to, asymptomatic, to other groups. Right now, we've got to prioritize folks with symptoms.
So you don't want Harris County, whether it's with the county testing sites, the pop-up sites, or the Walgreens, you don't want the average concerned citizen to call. You still want only symptomatic, elderly.
Look, if you have symptoms and you feel you need a test, go online, go to Ready Harris, fill out the form. I can tell you both systems will be prioritizing and are requiring symptoms. And so, and they're following the CDC guidelines. Now, we're continually evaluating if we get to the point where we have the capacity to test everybody with symptoms, then we would move on to asymptomatic, and we'll make the announcement once we get there, but we're not there right now.
Do you have data of how many people got tested in your 4 sites yesterday?
I don't have it right now. What we know is we have a lot of demand, overwhelming demand for the mobile sites, we have enough demand to cover all sites. The issue is redistributing it across sites. So we're trying to work with FEMA so that they can allow us to use perhaps some of the resources from the first 2 sites in the mobile sites, or how we can make sure that we're distributing that need evenly. But right now we have more need than there are tests. Now we'll continue to watch that, and as soon as it changes, we'll reevaluate.
And I think the city's facing the same issue, is that you have the capacity, increased capacity, and you have the need, of course, but there seems to be a gap because people have to call or use the internet there's a gap of not actually administering the full lot you have available, because people either don't show because of after making an appointment they can't get transportation there or something. So for example, the city of Houston gave me the numbers, and they only did like 500 some odd tests yesterday, even though they have 1,000 available, and you guys have 1,200 available. And I anticipate the numbers are not going to show that you did 1,200 tests. So how do you bridge that gap of making sure you use every bit?
Yeah, so historically we've used all of it. I mean, sometimes you assign, when we had 500, you assign 500, and at the last minute, you end up with 490, 10 people didn't show up, and so you can't control for that slight shift. Now, we did open it up before yesterday to an additional 200 people. That was full. So then we opened the full lot, and what we're seeing, and I got this from Public Health this morning, is that we are having, as I said, many more people who need the mobile sites than the other ones. And so how can we redistribute resources or somehow facilitate that? We knew that was a need. We knew the geography is a problem. That's why as soon as we got more resources, we established these sites that we can move around. We believe that the Walgreens test will also alleviate that. So it's just putting the puzzle pieces together. And the issue is that the materials, the 2 mobile sites we've procured independently. Harris County has procured independently through a vendor. The 2 static sites are, we receive resources from the federal government, and they require us so far to use them only for those sites. So even if we have more people sign up and they need to do it elsewhere, they can't make it to the first 2 sites, we can't reassign them elsewhere. And so we're working on that. As I said, we don't want there to be a gap, and so we'll be watching today and tomorrow. And if that continues to be an issue, we may have to open it up to a wider array of folks. But as of the latest data, we know that there are more people with symptoms than there are tests. So we don't want to put folks in front of those people with symptoms until we know that we've done everything we possibly can to pair the symptomatic folks with the sites.
Right, because on Tuesday it was like you guys only tested like 580 people out of 1,000. But anyway, I'll move on. From KPRC, they said two questions. One is, if you as the county judge were to open up the county's economy, what would you open up first? Have you guys thought about that?
Yes, we're in conversations right now about what we'd open up. Of course, looking at the guidance that the governor will be working on, that the federal government is working on. We are continuing to work with our academics on this, looking at other countries. It's too soon to say for me exactly what would come first and what later. I think, the focus right now is first, yes, we're working on that. Most importantly, we are not there yet. Number 1, we need to hit the peak. We haven't hit it. Number 2, we need to have universal accessible testing. We have more testing. In 1 week, we went from 2 sites to 6 sites. We still have some hiccups there on, making sure we're pairing folks with the, supply with demand. But we know we need more testing even beyond that. And so I'm hoping and I trust that as those 2 work streams come forward, more testing like the kind we announced today, and also we level off that curve, then we'll be ready to move on. But all models and projections show us that won't be for at least another couple weeks. And remember, if folks begin to go out and about and disregard the order, that will only take longer. It will only take longer for the peak to arrive. So those conversations about what we would open are important. They're necessary. We're having them. But I want to caution against folks thinking because we're having a conversation, that means that we're ready to open. We are not.
Okay, can you describe, KPRC would like to know how much planning you're doing related to the anticipated opening, whenever that is?
The biggest planning right now goes to the testing. It goes to the capacity, the modeling. You got to remember, we're going to have the main peak, and we'll hit that peak. And then eventually, once we reopen, we'll have another one, and we'll probably have more. And so before we reopen, we've got to have that. We've got to have clear projections also of where we're going and how we'd react. So all of this goes around reopening is frankly easier questions than saying, we'll start with this, we'll start with that. The point is, the minute you reopen, whether, obviously we'd probably hold back on bigger size gatherings, we'll be making those kinds of decisions, and we're discussing it, but that's the easy part. The hard part is, okay, whatever you open, you're going to see cases again. Then what do you do? And so if we don't have the testing ready, what will we do? We'll have to shut everything back down. So we can't do this prematurely. It doesn't serve the economy. We would just end up back where we started. So we're working round the clock to get to where we need to be. Some of it is out of our hands in terms of, supply chains, but you can see we're pushing. We managed to get these 2 additional sites. We've managed to secure this with the partnership of the governor and Walgreens, and we're continuing to ask for more support.
A question from KRIV about other cities and states are addressing the needs of undocumented immigrants with their own stimulus checks. Is there something that is being considered in Harris County? Why or why not?
Yes, we're working for all communities in Harris County. Folks know we are 25% immigrant. We're incredibly diverse, one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse county, and we do have a large undocumented population. The sites, the testing is available to everybody. We're not asking, immigration status. Obviously, our mental health line is open. The child care services, folks who have children who are U.S. citizens, and if they themselves are essential workers, they're also being paired with the services and with the aid. We have established a recovery fund with the United Way and the Greater Houston Community Foundation. Mayor Turner and I are both endorsing that fund, and the fund it has already raised several millions of dollars, and those dollars go directly to assistance to individual families, including families who are undocumented. The county issued, and Commissioner Garcia led this effort, a $10 million 0% interest loan program, forgivable loan program for small businesses. We are currently working on round 2 of that, or a support for individuals, rental assistance, that kind of thing. We want to make sure we're not duplicating what the relief fund is already doing. So the answer is yes, that's many of the ways in which we're doing this. And we want to look out for all communities, because this virus will come after everybody.
Judge, one more question in English. They want to clarify if HFD and HPD are getting tested at either of the Walgreens locations today. If not, when will that begin?
Right now, today the Walgreens locations are not open. They're opening tomorrow. I do know that the questionnaire includes whether they're first responders. Obviously, Walgreens is manning and leading how they prioritize that, but I do know that first responders with symptoms will be a priority, and so we do ask first responders to help us fill that out.
Okay. Questions in Spanish now.
11:47 on this Thursday. You've been listening to Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo updating Harris County's response to COVID-19. A lot to unpack from this morning's news conference. One big development, 2 new sites, 2 new testing sites, drive-through testing sites. These are the rapid tests, the tests developed by Abbott Labs, where you can get results in 15 minutes. 2 new sites are opening up tomorrow, one in Houston and one in the city of Pasadena. This is all in partnership with Walgreens. You have to call ahead of time. You can register online, get pre-screened online, or call and set up an appointment. Walgreens also giving out its website so that folks can answer some questions according to CDC guidelines if they'd like to make an appointment as well. So keep in mind, folks, if you're watching this and listening to us right now, you can't just show up at these 2 testing sites, and they are prioritizing people. These are people who have symptoms. They want to test those folks first. First responders, healthcare workers, anybody who is 65 and older, and those folks who are showing symptoms will have priority, Tanaya.
That's right. And as of 11:15, Judge Hidalgo said there are 84 new cases of coronavirus in Harris County, 2 new deaths. So right now we have more than 6,200 cases in the Houston area as a total area. More than 116 deaths, because Harris County just added those 2, and more than 1,300 people have recovered. So Judge Hidalgo said, we're not out of the woods by a long shot, but what we are doing is working. Houston, the area around Houston is faring much better than other large cities in the country, but we need to continue to social distance. She said public hospitals are almost at capacity right now, and we have not reached the peak just yet. The path to getting the economy, though, back to normal. So many businesses have been suffering. People have been out of work. It's really taking a toll on people financially, but it's going to take several steps. Like, we need to reach the peak of this virus first. Then things will begin to taper down. We do need that mass testing, the rapid testing. We need to know who's healthy and not. And it goes in line with what Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo is mentioning today. These 2 new testing sites in Harris County to take people. Again, one is in Pasadena, and the other, let me look on this, it's South Westmore Avenue and Shaver Street, and the other one is that one's Pasadena. The one in Harris County is on Westheimer and Highway 6. Now, again, these sites, we're told, will be able to conduct 200 rapid tests per day, and you'll get those results in about 15 minutes. But this testing is so important, Andy. Another site opened today in Galveston. Now, they'll be administering tests now at the fire station number 5 on the island. So that means 4 free testing, this one's free, locations in our area that will test you whether you have symptoms of the coronavirus or not. Again, those sites, 2 of them are in Houston. Butler Stadium, Del Mar Stadium are those locations, and then Galveston County has 2. But again, you cannot just show up. You do have to pre-register by phone or online for all of those locations. Again, those are the free testing sites that I was just telling you about for those, Andy.
And there's been a lot of talk this morning. There were questions asked about restarting the Texas economy and how and when that will take place. Governor Greg Abbott is set to lay out his recommendations, his guidelines tomorrow for the plan to reopen the Texas economy. Mayor Turner had said yesterday during his afternoon news briefing that he is anxious to get started, but he wants to make sure that it's done safely. We just heard from Judge Hidalgo as well. She's saying from the county's perspective, it's still too soon to say what reopening the economy and restarting the economy will look like for us. We are not there yet. She says she doesn't want to do anything prematurely. She's afraid that if leaders on all levels of government act prematurely, that we may end up back where we started. Harris County, the judge says, has not seen its peak. Cases are still increasing. There were some indications as of yesterday, and this is according to the Houston Health Department, that the curve was beginning to flatten, may be beginning to flatten due to the fact that hospitals in the city have been able to handle the volume of COVID-19 patients coming in. The demands for ventilators and ICU beds, we were told, are also being met. So there are so many things that will come into play when the decision is made to restart our economy. Governor Greg Abbott said don't expect a rush to the gates. Mayor Sylvester Turner said yesterday, listen, come Monday morning, do I expect things in the city of Houston to be back to normal? No, we will all be navigating a new normal. The question tonight is, what will that new normal look like for all of us?
I know, and it's going to look very different for a lot of people. I mean, this has affected so many things, like schools. The students kind of went on spring break and haven't gone back. Fort Bend already called it no school for the rest of the year. But a lot of the school districts are helping the parents who, have those students at home, like HISD. They're continuing to distribute meals to students. They're doing that today, and they've been doing it for several days. If you need information on that, again, in HISD, we have all of that information on our website. So just go to clicktohouston.com. And Conroe, the school district there, also giving out meals today. You can get meals for your child if they qualify for free or reduced lunch. Again, all of that information for Conroe ISD and HISD, all on our website, clicktohouston.com. And as I mentioned before, Fort Bend ISD called, school's done for this school year. We're still waiting to hear from other school districts in our area, but this is affecting so many different things. Like we talked about some school districts, like proms and graduations. What are they going to do with that? Some are talking about postponing those to potentially July. SATs, the test. Some might do at-home SATs. Others could do it on a weekend. Still waiting for definite answers on all of those things. But again, one of the most important things that Judge Hidalgo was saying is we do need to continue to practice our social distancing. You know, all the things they put in place for us, we need to continue to do because they believe, I know we're not at the peak yet, she said, but she believes the things that we have been doing, no matter how difficult they are for some people, she says they seem to be working. But again, if you are just joining us right now at 11:54 on this Thursday, Judge Hidalgo is giving a news conference about some new testing sites opening in Harris County. They are 2 new rapid coronavirus testing sites. So these will open starting tomorrow. They're going to be at the Walgreens drive-thru, and there's one in Pasadena. And then there's that one is on West Southmore Avenue and Shaver Street. The other one on Westheimer and Highway 6. Judge Hidalgo said, in the representative from Walgreens, said each site will be able to conduct 200 rapid tests per day. So these rapid tests, you're going to get the results in about 15 minutes. But again, for these testing sites at the Walgreens, you have to have an appointment and you must be pre-screened. She said, you know, they're going to make the first responders showing symptoms a priority here. But again, you cannot just show up to these specific sites. You do need to be pre-screened before you can just show up. But again, the results, 15 minutes, so you can get them fairly quickly. And we need to know these results, Andy, because we need to know if this community spread is continuing or, you know, we're starting to rein it in a bit.
And Judge Hidalgo this morning, basically in lockstep with Mayor Turner and Texas Governor Greg Abbott in that push for increased testing capabilities all across our area. We are seeing that, Tanaya, as you mentioned, with the 2 new testing sites opening up in Harris County, adding to the 4 sites that are already up and running. Mayor Turner telling us yesterday during his afternoon briefing that the data from the testing is so critical because that will allow health officials, medical professionals to get a better idea of what we're dealing with in terms of the community spread that is taking place in our community. That's the kind of information that will be used when it comes to deciding how to loosen the orders or possibly lifting the orders that are in place. No firm commitment from Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo this morning on when the stay-at-home work order for Harris County will be lifted. She just said we are not at a point yet where we can just do that. It's not a situation where we're just going to flip a switch and things are going to go back to normal. This data that we've been talking a lot about from these testing kits, that's going to help leaders, the decision makers in all levels of government formulate a plan on how to get our economy up and running again. It may be something that is rolled out in phases. That's something that we've heard officials talk about a lot in the past. So as we continue to see these testing capabilities, testing capacity increased across the county, it will certainly give our leaders, our elected officials, a better idea of how to handle restarting our economy, Tanaya.
And Will and Andy, right now there are more than 6,200 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the Houston area, but that number is more than likely going to rise because these newest sites that they just are telling us about right here in this news conference in Harris County, they can do 200 tests per day. So, you know, rapid results, once we do get those results, that 6,200 amount of cases will rise. We have more than 116 deaths. More than 1,300 people have recovered. So, you know, people are recovering from this, but we do have to continue to stay home, work safe order. We have to stay as safe as we can. It's important. They know this is hurting everyone. You know, we're not used to this, just how everything's been going. Schools have been closed, businesses have been closed. It's affecting people around the world and right here in our own backyards, Andy.